Hi, I'm Sherri Jones. Welcome to Mending the Hoop Show. Uh, Today's show is about the pipeline issues that are going on right now in North Dakota and about the protectors of the land there. And I have a guest that William Hawk, who I spoke with through Facebook. He put a live video out of words that he wants for people to hear. He's not able to go to where the things are going on in North Dakota right now. So first, I'll start out with words from William.
Hello everyone, my name is William Hawk. I am the founder of the Indigenous Life Movement. I wanted to go ahead and make a video, go live for each and every one of you to extend our gratitude and our thanks to each and every one of you for the support that you have given to the Sacred Stone Camp in North Dakota. Um, there are a lot of issues that we are facing as Indigenous people around the country. Um, of course, we have the Dakota Access Pipeline issue that's occurring right now, and there are thousands of people up there currently, and they are, protesting against this peacefully. Yet, our own government, we're faced with the battle, and it's a battle that we're gonna do our best. We're gonna do our best to win this battle. Um, there are, like I said, there are a lot of issues that we are facing as Indigenous people from around the country. Each tribe is facing their own issue, and it's very important. And I feel that it is important for this unity to occur, which we have going on in North Dakota. Um, we have over 100 tribes there, 100 different tribal members there from different tribes around the country supporting the Standing Rock Sioux tribe against the Dakota Access Pipeline. We have all of these issues occurring uh, all over the country. So personally, I believe that once we actually begin this process of unity, we're gonna be able to work with each other on against future issues that we as Indigenous people face. And it's not only us in the United States. There are Indigenous tribes all around the world, and we have to keep that in mind. Um, a lot of the Indigenous people around the world, they're facing so many different issues. Um, to the extent of death, and so we try to do our best here at Indigenous Life Movement to let you know what's going on around the world with other Indigenous tribes. And that's what you need to keep in mind, is that these other people from around the world, they're Indigenous just like us. They're just like us, and they're facing the same issues as we are: the encroachment on our lands, and it's just sad. It's sickening, and it's happening day in, day out around the world. So we need this unity. We need to come together. We need to work together. We need to speak and, and get that communication. We have to have that communication in order to work with one another, and that's what's occurring now. My ancestors, I'm Hunkpapa and I'm Ogallala Lakota, but I'm also Cheyenne and Arapaho from Oklahoma. So I both have Cheyenne, Arapaho, Hunkpapa, and Ogallala Lakota Sioux, and we have an old prophecy that the seventh generation was going to be faced with hardship and difficulties, and we're seeing that today. We're seeing meth taking over our lands. We're seeing suicide rates on the rise. We see murders. I mean, alcohol. You can name it. The abuse. You name it. It's happening, and we have to help end this. And personally, I believe that the best way to put a stop to this is unity, coming together as Indigenous people, working together, sharing our resources and sharing our knowledge with one another. It's going to help our people. It's going to bring peace. It's going to bring love. And that's what we need. We need love. We need love back in our homes, because we're missing so much love, and our kids are hurting. Our people are hurting. Our elders are hurting. They feel like they don't have anybody, but they do. They do have somebody. They have us. We are the younger generation, and we're going to stand up, and we're going to speak our voices, and we're going to do whatever is necessary to help our people, not only to survive, but to feel happy and significant, and to have that hope, prosperity. It's a difficult time right now. I know that. It is definitely a difficult time for all indigenous tribes around the world. And that's why I say that it's very important for us to come together, because we're all hurting. I'm hurting. It's sad, like what's going on with our people, what's happening. Like so many of our young men, so many of our young women are incarcerated. They're incarcerated, and the U.S. government is really breaking up our families. The U.S. government has caused so much distress amongst our people. And what do we do? Like, how do we prevent this from happening? Because we're all growing up in poverty. We're suffering. Our people are suffering. Our people, look at the Navajo Nation. They don't even have running water for like half their tribe. That's so sad. So what do we do? Like, what is it that we do to help our people? And like I said earlier, unity. We must be united as indigenous people in this country to prevent this sickness that is occurring, this pipeline, our suicide rates, alcohol abuse, drug abuse. It's killing our people day in and day out. Mothers are going home without their sons, our daughters, because they're out on the streets hooked on meth. They're sad. Our people are hurting, and they hide it. And we need to not be afraid to share what is actually going on in our homes. We have to be more open. We have to communicate with one another. That's very important. We must communicate with one another as indigenous people, because there is too much going on, and there's too much suffering, and there's too much pain within our tribes. I just want to say, to each and every one of you, all of you who are watching, that, we're all doing our best. I'm not in North Dakota. I'm down here in South America, but I'm doing my best to assist with the Sacred Stone Camp and help our brothers and sisters up in North Dakota. I really do wish that I were there. I wish that I was able to, stand front line and do what I can to help our people, my people. I'm Hukapapa. I'm straight from Sitting Bull's people, and I wish I were there, but I just can't, because each and every one of you, we all have lives, and we want to do what we can to be there. We want to do what we can to help them. But if you cannot make it to Standing Rock, if you cannot make it up to Cannonball, the best thing to do is to help in any way that you can. They need supplies, they need funding for legal services, they need all of these different sources, and we have to help them. And I'm helping the best way I can from where I'm at in South America. And it's just important, because this movement is huge. This movement is going to change us as indigenous people. We're going to see things differently. We're going to work together differently, because our eyes are opened. Our eyes are opened, and we are unified. We are together. But where can you send supplies and money? I'll have somebody post it to the page where you can actually send money, a reliable source, a reliable page where you can actually send money to help with the camp and with the protest, peaceful protest. And we are protectors. We are all protectors. I am a protector of life. They are protectors of the land and water, and we all do what we have to do to help people around the world, and we're helping our people at home right now. Again, thank you so much. My name is William Hawk. You can add me on Facebook. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask, and I'm more than willing to answer your questions. And like I said, we're all doing our best, and we're all trying our best to help our people. And you know, it's these are difficult times for indigenous people. Like I said, around the world. Look what's going on in Venezuela, and indigenous people, we're suffering, and we're trying to do our best to save Mother Earth. We're trying to do our best to save the most sacred medicine on this entire planet, and that is our mini, our water, our sacred water, mini wakam, pejuta. It's our medicine, and we're trying to protect that, because without that, our people will die, and not just our people, but people all over the world, all over our country. They'll suffer. This is our main water source for my people, Hunkpapa, and for many other tribes, Oglala. So we need to keep that in mind. So I say no Dakota access pipeline through my people's lands. I don't care what they say, I don't care what they think. They've already broken every single treaty ever made with my people, which is the Great Sioux Nation. They've broken every treaty. What do you do whenever you break treaties? What do you do? That's a good question. Think about it. So you guys each have a good night. It's very, very late here where I'm at. And I'll do the same. I'm going to continue prayers for my people, and if you're out there, I please ask you to please say some prayers for our warriors back in North Dakota. And you know, I love you guys. I love each and every one of you. And you know, Wopila Tonka, a big thanks, huge thank you to all of the support that has been given to the Sacred Stone Camp and to the protesters and the protectors of our land. So I say thank you. You guys have a good night, and much love and respect. Much love and respect. Please say some prayers for our people. And if you have a chance, if you have the slightest of chance to get up to North Dakota, please get up there. Please get up there and help our people, because the governor of North Dakota issued a state of emergency, and he's requesting more funding for more law enforcement. You know, what's next? Is there going to be an all-out war, all-out battle against our innocent people? They said that we had pipe bombs. They said we have arms. We don't have nothing. We're peaceful, for God's sakes. What the hell is wrong? Peaceful. Peaceful. That is all that we are. Aho. Wopila Tonka, my friends. Thank you very much. You have a good night. A happy wash day. Wash day. Wopila. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sherri Jones. Welcome. I have some things I want to read to you. Okay, what's going on right now is many nations are coming together, and the seventh fires, the seven fires have come together. This is a big time in history because it was prophesied that this was going to happen, and now here we are. Here it is. There have been many false reports going on up there about protesters, which are people who are protectors. They're protecting the land, and they're doing a lot of singing and speaking and praying. Many people have come together to pray to save the water and the land and to stop this pipeline from happening. Okay, so there are false reports of guns, pipe bombs, firecrackers, cherry bombs, guns being pointed at officers. That didn't happen. Police beating women. Didn't hear or see anything of that. You know, this is from other reports that went out. Rocks and bottles being thrown at the police. I didn't see anything of that. But and that this is true though. There were some. There was a restraining order put out toward anybody who would disrupt, to go onto the land and disrupt the process of the beginning of it, of the construction. And also there are people talking about, an upside down flag being shown, but that's a statement that the U.S. is in distress. So it's not it's a cry for help. It's not a thing that somebody's doing something to disrespect the flag. That's not true. It's saying that it's a cry for help for the U.S. in regards to the environment is what it's being displayed for. There's a lady who's wearing it. Okay, so the DAPL, Dakota Access Pipeline, from North Dakota to Illinois is approximately to be 1,172 miles, 30 inches in diameter. Okay, it's a Bakken oil producing light sweet crude oil. Okay, claims from the oil company that it would not be that would be safer to have this pipe underground than transporting by train or by trucks hauling them, which I think that's a poor excuse, and it's also supposed to be faster, which it is, but it doesn't need to be. Okay, pipeline to transport 470,000 barrels per day, capacity of 570,000. Okay, and its plan is to have it all put together and ready to go by the end of the year. Not unless people like us who stand up for the rights of our Mother Earth can stop it from happening. And so it said that the United States is the third largest crude oil users in the world and producers. Okay, there are people there that are camping out at the Sacred Stones Camp.org is the email address for where people are checking in for when they get there. So anyways, if you want to contact them, you just go to sacredstonescamp.org. They're set up there. And they're in need of food supplies and camping supplies and money and other things. Yeah, so for people who head up there, you can take some things with you if you're able to. And they're asking no alcohol, no firearms, and which there hasn't been any that anybody has seen of as far as the firearms and things go that had been reported that there was. But there wasn't. And then there was a horse ride on Saturday morning, and there was 30 horses came to join in the Horse Nation prayers in regards to respect to the horses too. Okay, there was also Saturday there was a canoe ride where people from different directions came and got together with bringing water from different directions, and boaters and canoers got together and they canoed and kayaked down the river with the waters to do a ceremony. And there were a lot of people, bystanders, a lot of people along their route waiting for them and to greet them as they came by, as they went by. So show their support and prayer. And also, they want to remind people that they're not protesters, protectors. I wish I could be there to be a protector along with them. Okay, Governor Jack Palarimapile, I can't even read my own writing, sorry, authorized a restricted emergency declaration on Friday, August 19th to make to make additional resources, sorry, again I can't read my own writing, available for management of public safety at the Dakota pipeline site near Cannonball, North Dakota. Okay, the tribe has filed a lawsuit against the Army Corps of Engineers. Date of court is August 24th in Washington, D.C., 1 to 5 p.m. Okay, and also, there were farmers, there were three farmers that got together and filed a lawsuit too for the protection of their land from the pipeline, because the things, they didn't get an opportunity in this to be a part of the yes or no's. It just was something that went through without confronting them. But okay, Des Moines, Iowa. Okay, the company is based out of Texas. Okay, the lawsuit is against the Iowa Utility Board for making a decision that was not theirs to make. The farmers were not consulted. Okay, and there was a requirement of 75%, of landowners to be able to make this decision, and that didn't happen. Before the project could go forward, they have 20 days to comply or to respond. Well, there's approximately around 2,000 people, over 2,000 people, and more coming right now. Each day the camp gathers more people. Okay, this is for immediate release, August 19th, 2016. Standing Rock Sioux Tribe and ITC file an urgent communication to the United Nations citing human rights violations resulting from pipeline construction. Okay, Fort Yates, North Dakota, United States, on Thursday, August 18, 2016, the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe and the International Indian Treaty Council, IITC, jointly submitted an urgent action communication to 4 United Nations UN Human Rights Special Rapporteurs. It cited grave human rights and treaty violations resulting from construction of the Dakota Access crude oil pipeline in close proximity of the Standing Rock Reservation by the United States Army Corps of Engineers and Dakota Access LLC, a subsidy of Texas-based Energy Transfer. The Standing Rock Sioux Tribe, SRST, stands in firm opposition to the Dakota Access Pipeline. The pipeline would carry nearly 500 million barrels of crude oil a day and would cross the Missouri River, threatening the tribe's main water source and sacred places along its path, including burial sites. The urgent communication was submitted to the UN Special Rapporteurs on the situation of human rights defenders, the right of indigenous people, the human right to safe drinking water and sanitation, and environmental and human rights, as well as the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. It represents that they urge the United States to halt the human rights violation and uphold its human rights and treaty obligations to the Standing Rock Tribe. It was also forwarded to key officials in the U.S. State Department, Department of Interior, and the White House. Urgent communication focuses on violations of the UN Declaration on the Right of Indigenous People, the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty, and other international human rights standards to which the United States is obligated. It also cites action against human rights defenders, including arrest and other forms of intimidation, violations of the human right to water, and lack of redress and response using domestic remedies. The submission noted that this action violation Article 32 of the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, which affirms the obligation of the state obligation or obtain to obtain reading the wrong stuff or blah of this affirms the obligation of the states to obtain indigenous people free, prior, and informed consent before development projects affecting their lands, territories, and other resources are carried out. The Lakota and Dakota, which include the SRST, were part of the sovereign Sioux Nation, which concluded the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty with the United States, and the United States has illegally binding obligations based on this treaty to obtain the Lakota and the Dakota's consent before activities are carried out on their treaty lands. The urgent communication also highlights environmental racism and violations of International Convention of Estimated of all forms of racial discrimination, Convention ICERD, to which the U.S. is legally obligated. It notes that the United States has permitted energy transfer to divert the pipeline's route from near the mainly non-indigenous population of Bismarck, North Dakota, to disproportionately impact the SRST. That's a lot of talking and reading. Here we go. Sorry about that. Okay. A primary concern expressed by the tribe is potential devastating effects on its primary water source. SRST Chairman Dave Archambault II, who is among those arrested and is also being sued by the company for obstruction of pipeline construction, started on August 15th. I am here to advise anyone that will listen that the Dakota Access Pipeline is harmful. It will not be just harmful to my people, but its intent and construction will harm the water in the Missouri River, which is the only clean and safe rivery tributary left in the United States. In response to the tribe's opposition, Dakota Access LLC, the developers of the $3.8 billion four-state oil pipeline, has waged a concerted campaign to criminalize and intimidate tribal leaders, tribal members, and their supporters who have consistently been peaceful and nonviolent. The IITC and the SRST are calling upon the UN Rapporteur of Human Rights Defenders to call upon the United States to immediately cease all arrest and other forms of intimidation, drop any pending lawsuits, and ensure that all legal charges against these human and treaty rights defenders be lifted. The urgent action communication cited that this case is an example of criminalization of indigenous human rights defenders around the world, as noted by various UN bodies. Despite the 28 arrests reported to date, the peaceful protesters have succeeded in temporarily halting the pipeline's construction. A hearing is currently scheduled for the next week in federal court to consider the tribe's request for an injunction. Construction has reportedly been halted until the hearing, providing an important initial victory for the tribe and their supporters. The joint urgent UN communication request the intervention of these UN human rights mandate holders to call upon the United States to uphold its statutory legal treaty and human rights obligations and impose and intimidate an ongoing moratorium on all pipeline construction until the treaty and human rights of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, including their rights to free, prior, and informed consent, can be ensured. Okay, it says for additional information, there's contact Steve Sitting Bear, Standing Rock Sioux Tribal, External Relations, and then his email and other things. And Roberto Barrero, IITC Communications Coordinator. Okay, here's more yet. The International Indian Treaty Council, IITC, is an organization of indigenous people from North Central, South America, the Caribbean, and the Pacific, working for sovereignty and self-determination of indigenous people and the recognition and protection of indigenous rights, treaties, traditional and cultures, and sacred land. El Consejo Internacional de Tratados Indios. Okay, they have it in Spanish here. Okay, statement from RSRT Chairman Dave Achenbalt II. He says, I appreciate the pressure that Governor Dalrymple is working under. We are all feeling the tension created by the recent decision of the Corps of Engineers and Energy Transfer Partners to rush ahead with construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline, while important legal issues of the tribal sovereignty and public health and safety remain unresolved. Tribal leaders are committed to nonviolence and peaceful prayer as the guiding principle of Cannonball River camps. We are doing everything in our power to promote that spirit. This is an opportunity to work together in a spirit of cooperation, and we should take advantage of that opportunity. But with all due respect, the governor declares an emergency was unfortunate. I wish he had consulted with the tribe before making today's declaration, because the tribe has its hands extended in the spirit of partnering and cooperation. We look upon the situation as an opportunity to work together. Everyone needs to keep in mind that our families are the ones most affected by the governor's decision to close parks, blockade roads, and to use the language of confrontation rather than cooperation. We are just as conscious of the needs of the public safety as the governor, but we do not feel the need to cancel our concerts or close our parks. In fact, now more than ever, we want people to come to Standing Rock and visit. Just today, our tribal council voted unanimously that the roadblocks should be taken down. It is our mothers and our fathers who are on the road this week as our children prepare for the opening of school. Our citizens rely on the roads to get from home to work. We are most harmed economically by shutting the last weeks of the tourist season. What is happening at Cannonball Camp reflects a historic moment for the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. For the first time in 100 years, we are hosting and reconvening the 7 council fires of the Oseti-Sakowin. This attests to our commitment to working together for our children's future. I look forward to working with the governor to remove the roadblocks, reopen the parks, and ensure the public safety. Dave Achenbalt, Chairman, Standing Rock Sioux Tribe. Also, I guess the Cheyenne and the Arapaho tribe had donated and delivered, I believe it's 400 pounds, I may be wrong about that, about how many pounds, buffalo meat and 200 cases of water. There are other nations that are going there and bringing stuff and donating things. And also the Tonka Bar Company, that sells nutrition bars, sent a whole pallet of bars. President Mark Tilson and friend Bruce and Rich Ellison delivered the bars. Also, there are many people from many different nations are showing up there, and there's also people from other countries that are coming and that are there right now. They're getting shown support from different parts in the world, which is really great, because they're protectors. They're not they're people who are protecting the earth. They're not a loud, rowdy, violent group as what many people say. Yeah, they can be a little loud, but they're not hurting anybody. I also noticed that I saw that Clyde Belcourt made it there, and Dennis Banks. So that's a good thing. Lots of good prayers going on there, and also there's John Eagle Sr. has been stating a lot that one heart, one mind, and people be and the people be one. It's all it's basically all about being one. People coming together as one. I've seen a lot of really positive things. When I've seen the videos, I see people singing and praying and singing and praying and preaching about peace. I haven't seen any violence. I did see where the horses came out one day and they went up against the line, which is kind of a traditional warrior type of thing that they did. Not type of thing, but thing that they did. They went up where they came. Some people came up with the horses about the front line where the line of officers were standing by the block to block the road to where the dig was starting, where the dig has started. So, anyways, I saw from different views, people got different ideas of what happened there. From the different views where people had videoed and put the videos out, where it looks like all the officers are scared and they're running back. Well, the horses got a little close, but they weren't going to hit anybody or hurt anybody. And some of the officers, one of the officers tells the other officers, get back, so they run kind of backwards in line a little bit. And from one direction, it looked like all those officers were scared. But with a close-up from the opposite direction, some of those officers were smiling and laughing. They were actually having fun. So there may have been a few that got scared and told the others, "Oh, get back!" So they all rushed back, But actually, a lot of the officers are having fun. Even there was a group that went over to the Capitol last week, and there was a whole big line of officers there. Because there were some people in town who had put together a peaceful event outside of the Capitol in Bismarck, and so people gathered there, and they did the roads had been blocked off, and the group saw, well, the roads are blocked off, so they did a round dance in the middle of the street in front of the Capitol in Bismarck, and they were making sure people know that they're protectors, not protesters. And the police there were having a good time. They were, shaking hands and having a good time. And some of the police officers were dancing.
you know, you go along and you have this opportunity to see people along the route and to see what is going on. And I want to tell you what I saw, because I've been to in many ways to the beginning and to the end of what these black snakes look like, you know. And that's what we call this in our territory. We call this the black snake. And there are prophecies in our territory, and prophecies in Lakota country and in Anishinaabe country about the coming of the black snake. And what I'll tell you is that in our prophecies and, you know, in our ceremonies, I went to a lot of ceremonies on this, and I asked, like, what were we supposed to do, you know, there. I asked some spirits on some of those things, and you know what the spirit said to me? The spirit said, there's a reason it's in the ground. There's a reason these things are in the ground. And we have to remember that, because we live in a society which feels entitled to take things that should be in the ground and take them out. And we need to challenge that paradigm, because that paradigm is not sustainable. You cannot keep taking things out of the ground and expect that's going to work out for your water, or for your land, or for the things that we don't understand about how Mother Earth lives. There's a reason that copper is in the ground. There's a reason that oil is in the ground. There's a reason that carbon is supposed to stay in the soil and not go in the air. Right? Those are the things we know. And we have to really challenge this paradigm that says you keep taking things out and it's going to work out. Right? Because that's not true. You cannot keep taking things out. But to keep that in mind, because a lot of us, I think we end up in this era now where I see a lot of people going, wait, I just want to stop this one thing or stop this one thing. You know? Or like, wait, you know, I mean, my impersonation of Minnesota politicians is like this. It looks like it's coming our way. Let us do this. That's really not a strategy. You know, it's time to grow up. You know? So, we've entered this era of extreme extraction. And I think you guys probably been talking about that. I did not spend all day talking about it, but what I'm saying is we've entered this era where we have taken so much from Mother Earth that anything we take now is not given to us willingly. You know, extreme extraction is when you take off the top of 500 mountaintops in Appalachia, you know, and you blow off the top and you call it mountaintop removal. Extreme extraction is when you drill 20,000 feet under the ocean to take out some oil that should be staying down there, and then you have a problem like Deepwater Horizon, and you go, oh, sorry, I'm gonna mess that one up, right? Extreme extraction is the tar sands, and extreme extraction is fracking. Fracking is rape of Mother Earth. That is what fracking is. There is no other way to describe what is occurring with fracking. When you take the frac sand that I just saw, we just drove by there, we were over in Winona, my hometown there in Minnesota, you know, down in that whole area in southern Wisconsin, what you call Wisconsin and Ho-Chunk territory is what I would call it. In that territory, they're taking that sand, and you all know that. They're taking that sand, they're putting it on trains, and they're loading it, and then they're taking it out there, and then they are taking these engines, and they're putting together, and they are taking those chemicals. They're taking 600 chemicals they do not have to disclose, and they're taking that sand and they're taking it down, they're exploding the bedrock of Mother Earth. That is what fracking is. That is how extreme it is. It is extreme rape of Mother Earth. That is what is occurring in fracking. And yet what happens is that because it happens in places like North Dakota where people do not go. And they're like, well, I'm hoping that's going to work out. You know, this is me even in Minnesota until a few years ago. I was like, man, that looks kind of bad. I'm hoping that's going to work out in North Dakota. I'm hoping that's going to work out. You know, there's two things I'd say about that. One thing is it's, you know, it's a lot like the analogy I think of is a lot like when you know that there's a child being sexually abused in a household that is near yours or in your extended family, and you're looking at that child and saying, that's a bad thing, I think that's happening over there. And I hope that works out. That's what this is like. That's what this is like. And
Okay, now I have a message that was put out by John Eagle Sr. Long ago, our ancestors knew the Cannonball River as Indian Wankan Kajapi Wakapa. I don't speak Lakota, so I don't know if I pronounce that right. River where the sacred stones are made. And they knew the Missouri River as Minnesos, turbulent water. At the confluence of where those two rivers met was a great whirlpool that created perfectly round stones that were considered to be sacred. When the U.S. Army Corps of Engineering degraded the Cannonball River and altered its course, the rivers quit making those stones. The federal undertaking had an adverse effect on an area of religious and cultural significance to our people. We will never again see this. When man changes the land, it is changed forever. When the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers created the dams to create hydraulic power, that federal undertaking had an adverse effect on a traditional cultural landscape. Construction had begun north of Standing Rock, and they didn't even bother to tell the people. It wasn't until the water came that they realized that they were flooding the river. There are many sad stories from our relatives and communities that lived on the river bottom about the deep spiritual wound this caused our grandparents. When they lost their river bottom, they lost traditional foods and medicines that caused the people to become dependent on Indian health services. Prior to that, there was no diabetes, heart disease, and obesity among our people. The land between the Cannonball River and the Heart River north of us is sacred land, this historic place of commerce where enemy tribes camped within the sight of each other peacefully because of the reverence they had for the sacred place. In the area are sacred stones where our ancestors went to pray for good direction, strength, and protection for the coming year. Those stones are still there. The people still go there every day. The entire route of the Dakota Access Pipeline will have an adverse effect on sites of religious and cultural significance to many tribal nations. Wherever the buffalo roam, our ancestors left evidence of their existence and connection to everything in creation. The Aboriginal lands of the Osidi, Sakaganawin, not sure if I pronounced that right either, extended as far as west of as Wyoming and Montana, as far north as the bush country in Canada, as far east as the Great Lakes, and as far south as Kansas. Along this construction corridor, they're going to disrupt ancestral burial places and sites of religious and cultural significance to tribes. For our relatives traveling to Standing Rock to pray with and to support the Papa, remember you're on sacred land. Respect each other. Watch over each other. Be good relatives to each other. Let's be good stewards to the land and commit to having as small of an ecological footprint as we can. There will be feeds burning your Watisa plates. Another word I don't know, sorry. Let's try not to litter the land with the plastic and styrofoam. Spread the word. You are coming to sacred land, to a sacred place, and need to be respectful and have reverence for the land, water, and air. Take courage and be strong. Our ancestors are with us. We are not alone, and be victorious. Oh, hesi tu wio. Okay, that was nice.
water cannot be on. So we're walking, we are walking. There's been a migration walk of the Anishinaabe just over a couple of weekends ago from the East Coast. They ended at Madeline Island. We had water walks around Lake Winnebago, up from the Gulf Coast, along the Mississippi. Josephine Mandama had walked around and led these walks. She's walked every step of the way around all the Great Lakes. She's in her 80s. In the end, love, 'cause love is the end. Dusty roads and the hills, come take my hand. So we're walking on, we are walking on. That's what the people want. Sometimes I'm tired of this struggle. Sometimes I'm tired of this fight. We shall overcome. That's what the man said. Yeah, we're walking on. We are walking on. That's what the man said. Water's flowing, compromise has been made. Truth that needs to be lifted for the unborn's sake. Sometimes I'm tired of the struggle, sometimes I'm tired of this fight. We shall overcome. That's what the people say. We're walking on. We are walking on. That's what the people want. In the end, love, 'cause love is everything. Dusty roads up ahead, come take my hand. We're walking on, we are walking on. That's what the people want. story from my people, the Muskogee people. I'm from the Muskogee Creek Nation. And one of the stories, we got several stories about water, but this one in particular had to do with a man who was the water keeper. And as the water keeper, he was trusted to ensure that the people, the world had water. At one time, what he did was began gambling. So it was one of the favorite pastimes of indigenous people here on this land. And so, in his gambling game, he lost everything that he had, all his belongings. And so, when he had ran out of everything, he decided to wager the water that he had in his possession. And so he started going, and then all of a sudden, he lost. He lost the water. He lost control of the water. And the world had no more water, except the people that wanted it. There's only certain individuals that had control, had water. It kind of sounds like what's going on today, but we're almost there. We got to stop it. But anyway, back to the story. The story is that one day people in all species, everything, all life that depended on water, began searching for it. And in that search, they could not find anything. But one day, a woodpecker was tapping on the tree. It kind of sounds like that drum over there. But anyway, it sounded. This one tree sounded as if there was something in it. And he realized it sounded like water slushing around in that tree. So he had heard that the people were looking for water, and so he let them know, I know where the water is. You'll follow me. So everybody got together. There were people with dull axes, sharp axes, and some had really nice rocks to dig and to get that water from that tree. Well, the people had come together, all the species were working together to get the water, because everybody needed it for life. And so they finally got going on it, and then all of a sudden the woodpeckers got to work at it, and he really started hitting that tree, and then water come gushing out, filling the rivers, the lakes, the oceans, everything. So everybody was happy. And so the man who had wagered the water no longer had that responsibility, but because of what had happened. But that's the old story. And so the moral of the story is that don't leave it up to one person to take care of your water, because you don't know what's going to happen in the mind of that person. So it can be dangerous. And so we have to take responsibility, everybody. That's what that story is all about. So anyway, there you have it. It's a Muskogee story. But these stories were told way back whenever. But in the 20s, John Swatton began collecting stories, and this was one of the stories that he had collected.
Thank you for joining me today with Mending the Hoop.